Holy bad. The news cottage of the Brush Communications Service, the News Incorporated. From the news cottage of the Brush Communications Incorporated, Brush FM News Watch, Business News Watch. 45 minutes of news, views, counter views, and analysis coming about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. Today is Thursday, the 29th day in the month of July 2021. The story is top in News Watch tonight. Citizens of Yola in Nima County are calling on government to speedily investigate the death of a 17-year-old boy. The chief of office staff in the offices of District 2 Mosrado County lawmakers expressed confidence in his boss, Jimmy Smith, in winning the District 2023. In order to meet the growth and development of the health facilities in Liberia, a non-for-profit organization named Just One has donated 200 pieces of bath towel and 100 pieces of gum at the EAW hospital. And a leading Nigerian policeman has denied any connection with the fraud and money laundering charges. The Nigerian influencer Hashupa has pleaded guilty to in a court. And James Yagerson fought fronting tonight. But first, from the News Center with Jeremiah Mova. Good evening, Jerry.
Good evening, James. Good evening to all. Officers of the Liberia National Police have reported beating a driver known as Aliu Sharif to death. The incident happened around the Gardenville belt on Thursday morning, and the driver was pronounced dead upon arrival at a local health center. According to police spokesman Moses Carter, the police officers were on a routine operation checking on cars that are not roadworthy when the scuffle happened. Our correspondent who arrived on the scene after the incident narrated that onlookers of the scene were in shock and explained that the deceased driver car was pulled over and impounded, and the head of the officers only knowing as a car requested some money before the car be released. When other cars that were impounded got released, the driver took exception and got in scuffle with the police officers, which led to his demise. Meanwhile, the police spokesman has asked family members of the deceased to remain kind and that justice will be served, and that the police officers in question are honorable interrogation by the Professional Standard Division of the Liberian National Police. The police is also calling on our witnesses who were on the scene to come up front and give first-hand explanation to aid the police investigation. In order to meet the growth and development of the health facilities in Liberia, a non-profit organization named Just One has donated 200 pieces of bath towel and 100 pieces of gown at the Iadori Hospital. Just One is an organization based in USA that helps promote and facilitates educational opportunities for disadvantaged children around the world. Speaking to journalists Thursday, Emmanuel Zord explained that the donation is entitled to make the supplies of bath towel and gowns sufficient for patients at the Yadari Hospital. Emmanuel Zord, who is one of the members of the Just One family, noted that the organization will continue to extend help to both disadvantaged children and the health center at large. Meanwhile, the acting chief executive officer at the Yadari Hospital thanked the Just One family for her kind gesture in reaching out to the hospital. Reverend James Freeman Gawe says this is not the first time the EAW hospital has received such donation from the Just One family, adding that the item will be used to meet the patient's need. Police in Bonjaman have arrested 7 persons, including 6 males and 1 female, for blocking the entrance of the Lofa County administrative seat in Bonjaman City. The arrest of the 7 pro Samukai protesters on Thursday came as a result of the action to lock the administrative building, thereby preventing the superintendent and other government administration agencies from having access to their respective offices in executing government function. It all started on Thursday morning in Bonjaman City with some supporters and sympathizers of Samokai taking the grounds of the Lofa County Administrative Compound with placards bearing different political wordings calling for the certification of Senator-elect Bernie Samokai. The demonstration continued in Fuya and Zaza simultaneously, with the ex-defense minister supporters carrying in their hands posters and signing revolutionary songs, as well as chanting political slogans calling on the government for their political will to prevail. A bunch of other protests turned sour as 7 of the activists were arrested by the police and are expected to be charged and forwarded to court as confirmed by the Norfolk County Police Commander, William Johnson. Citizens of Nima County Electoral District number 1 are calling on the National Elections Commission to give them an update on the conduct of the district's representative pending by-election. The citizens speaking to our Nima County correspondent said, send the election of their representative Jeremiah Cohn to the House of Senate. Their district has remained vacant. As a result, those things the district needs to benefit are all missing. The citizens lamented that since the National Election Commission announced a set date of the conduct of the by-election in the country, they are yet to be updated, something they say have led to some of the aspirants who earlier on expressed interest in election to back off. The citizens used the occasion to appeal to the National Election Commission to speedily come out with a set date for the conduct of the by-election. Former defeated representative candidate of District 2 Monserrado County, Bishop Nimle Doyen, has expressed gratitude in the people of Christian community for their continual support in promoting unity through sports within the district. Bishop Doyen made the exception when he served as guest during the grand final of a month-long community tournament hosted by leaders of the Christian community, and added that more tournaments are to be hosted in the community. Nimle Doyen, during the presentation of certificates and trophy, presented a token of later over 1,000 Liberian dollars, lamenting that more will be done. It can be referenced that Bishop Doyen lost to incumbent Jimmy Smith in the 2017 representative presidential election and is a current member of the collaborating political party, specifically the Alternative National Congress. For his part, the community chairman Moba Geba thanked the participated communities participating in the month-long community tournament. Geba further thanked Bishop Doyen for accepting the invite and stressed that the community will use the occasion as a means in remembrance, describing him as a friend of the community. Meanwhile, Block C was crowned champions after defeating Block E in the entertaining showpiece of the Peter Sports page in the Christian community earlier this week. A group of Liberian and international non-governmental organizations have vehemently expressed their opposition to the Senate's recommendation calling on the president to set up transitional justice commission. In an open letter to the House of Representatives through Speaker Buffer Timbers, the groups committed to ensuring justice for victims of serious international crimes perpetrated during the Liberia Civil War, called on the lower house not to endorse the proposal. The organizations include the Civil Society Human Rights Advocate Platform of Liberia Independent Human Rights Investigators, Global Justice and Research Project, Secretariat for the Establishment of War Crimes Court in Liberia, Transitional Justice Working Group of Liberia, Liberian Massacre and Survivor Association, Human Rights Watch, Civitas Massima, the Advocate for Human Rights, and Center for Justice and Accountability. Instead, the group called on the government to seek international support for the establishment of the War Crimes Court to prosecute individuals that committed heinous crimes during Liberia's brutal civil war, which claimed the lives of an estimated 750,000 people. Reading further, they said by building up the Truth and Reconciliation Commission proposed statute for a court that could try war crimes and other relevant initiatives, such as draft court statutes developed by the Liberian Bar Association, and by calling upon international expertise and assistance for support in conducting war crimes investigations and trials that are consistent with domestic law and international standards. Justice for victims of Civil War era crimes can finally be achieved in Liberia. The Catholic Diocese of Cape Palma has described as compromising and endangering the lives of citizens and incalculable loss of goods, that's goods and properties that continues viral condition along the main corridor leading to southeastern Liberia. The Catholic Diocese of Cape Palma comprises the five counties in the southeast, including Grand Jide, Grand Cru, River G, Sano, and Maryland counties. A statement issued in Monrovia under the caption, a statement of concern on the challenges, difficulties, and dangers of traveling into and out of the southeastern region of Liberia. The Dowsey pointed out that the prevailing condition of barrows in the area is posing serious challenges, difficulties, and danger for the movement of people and goods. The statement was issued under the Senator of the Most Reverend Andrew Jagge, Kangle Bishop of the Cape Palma, who is the administrative head of the diocese. The church indicates that citizens and others are compelled to risk their life while traveling to southeastern Liberia due to the barrow conditions. It made specific reference to the recent shipwreck on the waters in Maryland County. On July 17, the locally made Nico Abanka vessel sank in Maryland County while carrying over 28 passengers. Few persons have been found there, while several others have been rescued by the Liberian Coast Guard with support from Sea Shepherd. The wrecked vessel, which was reportedly grounded and declared unfit by the Liberian government through the Liberian Maritime Authority, surrendered, left Monrovia and sealed to Maryland County, who ordered a lift to stay or on the sailing of the vessel remain unknown up to the present, as the government has since launched an investigation. The United Nations Development Program National Program Coordinator Abraham Tumbe has called on members of the ASTIS, that's Astinas, and Small Scale Mining Working Group to exert more effort in tackling the challenges faced by the sector for a sustainable environment, making the exaction recently in the China Grand Bassa County during a 1 week working session that was supported by the Society for Conservation of Natural Nature Liberia with funding from the Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund. Tume said the artisanal and small scale mining working group have been a platform for dialogues and engagements in and finding ways to solve some critical issues related to the environment. The ASM is a platform that brings together stakeholders from different institutions, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, Environmental Protection Agency of Liberia, civil society organizations, the Independent Human Rights Commission, RSI, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and the Ministry of Justice. Together, they all can curve a roadmap and suitable way to ensure that artisanal mining can be sustained in the long term. To me, however, disclosed that even though the working group has been effective to a certain extent, there has not been an annual or biannual meeting. This, he said, birthed the need for them to convene for the sole purpose of settling of a secretariat which would be charged with the responsibility to plan quarterly or biannual meetings, as well as monitoring to seek for implementation of their projects. Former defeated Representative candidate of District 2 Monserrado County, Bishop Doyen, has expressed gratitude in the people of Christian community for their continued support in promoting unity to schools in the district. Bishop Doyen made a session when he served as guest during the grand final of the Mont Long Community Tournament. We took this story already. The United Nations Development Program National Program finally on the news bulletin on the heat of the declining health sector amid the novel COVID-19 disease in the country. The Assistant Minister for Youth Development at the Ministry of Youth and Sports had identified with two key health facilities in Bond County with a donation of medical and sanitary materials. Assistant Minister Famanta Briswell, who also hails from the county, made a donation at the weekend at the Parada Health Center and the CP Doma Hospital in Baghdad, Bond County. Speaking to local media during a donation, the MY's official stated that the gesture is in a bid to buttress the national government effort to address critical needs in the sector. He remarked representatives from the Paradise Health Center and the CB Doma Hospital lauded Madam Bracewell for kind gestures, stating that the donated items will be used for their intended purpose. It's back to you, James Jaggerson Fogba, for continuation of the News Watch program.
Well, congratulations to colleague Jeremiah Mola for bringing us a news bulletin on Loose Wash. Tonight, let's begin lifting our top stories. The Chief of Office Staff in the offices of District 2 Moscow County lawmakers expressed confidence in his boss Jimmy Smith in winning the district comes 2023. According to Alfred Topa, the people of District 2 should not be taken for granted, stressing that they are resolved and sophisticated in re-electing Honorable Smith for the district seat. Toba lamented that electors will not vote in 2023 based on flyers or t-shirts, noting that they will vote on the basis of tangibles. The COS further described oppositions in the district as flower not politicians who cannot afford to control what they do, emphasizing that the oppositions are bound to fall.
Level the people of District 2, and I have no doubt from all indications as I speak to you right now, the way that you hear I will smell bad forgetting. He will die in the chair. Now they hear from him. But again, and democracy. So it's not whether they don't know both. The people of District 2 should not be taken for granted. 2023, the people of District 2 are sophisticated than you think. They will not go for jollof rice. They will not go for flyers. People will not go for jollof rice. They will not go for flyers. They will not go for t-shirts. They will not go for swimmer. They will go on the basis of their tangible. I'm not here to call somebody. I'm not here to give somebody popularity. Somebody, this guy is involved with business. He gave Lou, and the Lou, he tells you clearly, not that a politician in our district who wanted behind a New York. He gave you Lou and tells you clearly, Lou, not the money not for me. That some of my friends send it from overseas, they present to me. I gave it for 10%. You gotta bring the money back. It is now open the room. So he's a businessman. So you cannot bring him to the fray. So all that means you are going to have trouble and no politicians. Someone who, if it's personally knows person who cannot even no control what they do, they abandon their moral and live in the district. Someone who say moral and is away their moral easy, and I can't person bring to national leadership. Amen. The best person that can bless you is your parent. When you neglect your parent, you hate your parent, the base of just superstitious belief, then you are bound to fall.
Well, that's the voice of the Chief of Office Staff in the offices of District 2 representative, of course. He's Alfred Topa here there expressing confidence that comes 2023, his boss going to definitely win the representative seat of the district. Among the featured representative Colonel of District 2, Moswell County Bishop Nimlin Doyen has expressed gratitude in the people of Christian community for their continued support in promoting unity through sports in the district. Doyen made a session when he served as guest during the final, as a grand final of a month-long community tournament hosted by leaders of the Christian community.
Never tournament, the big place. And I believe I will be here to see it starting, and I will follow it to the end. I want to thank all of you for asking me to come and present the certificate. Thank you. But before I present the certificate, I have to put something in a little plate. Wow. Wow. It's a small thing. Yes. You know that we have plenty of children in the different hospitals in the two communities. Yes. And so as you go, you just leave small thing behind. By the time we come, and I will come and spend a day with you here. Yes. So I brought a small token of $10,000 to put in your car. The real government. This may give back to several 10,000. Because Christian community is a community I love. The direct meaning Christian community impresses me every time. So I'm sorry I was not here, but I believe I'm with you in spirit in everything you do here. Thank you, sir. So I'm not going to present the certificates to all of you. Thank you.
Well, that's the voice of former defeated Representative Kennedy of District 2, of course, his Bishop Nimlin Doyen, hearing they expressing gratitude in the people of Christian community for their continued support in promoting unity through sports in the district. Citizens of Lima County Electoral District Number 1 are calling on the National Elections Commission to give them audit on the conduct of district's representative in pending by-election. The citizen speaking to our Lima County correspondent says, since the election of the Representative Jeremiah Kong to the House of Senate, their district has remained vacant. As a result of those things, the district needs to benefit are all missing. The citizens lamented that since the National Elections Commission announced a set date of the conduct of the by-elections in the country, they are yet to be updated, something they say have led to some of the aspirants who either on expressed interest in the election to back off. The citizens used the occasion to appeal to the National Elections Commission to speedily come out with a set date for the conduct of the by-election. Augustine Dines, our Lima County correspondent, and has the rest of the story. Well, the voice of Augustine Down, of course, Brush FM, Lima County correspondent. You hear him there, the citizens of Lima County Electoral District Number 1. They are calling on the National Elections Commission to give them audit on the conduct of the district's representative by election. Citizens of Yola in Nima County are calling on government to speedily investigate the death of a 17-year-old boy. According to our correspondent, the boy got drawn after the July 26, 2021 Independence celebration in a river which borders between Bonk and Nima counties. Our correspondent said Our correspondent said since the death of the boy, his corpse has been floating over the river and is yet to be buried. Something he said the citizens wants investigation before they can have the body buried. Daddy Cody Davis, our Bond County correspondent, and of course, he files in this report. If If you just join us, you are indeed listening to Newswatch, 45 minutes of accurate and concise news from about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our global village. Headlines we are following this evening. Citizens of Yola in Nima County are calling on government to speedily investigate the death of a 17-year-old boy. Citizens of Nima County Electoral District 1 are calling on the National Elections Commission to give them update on the conduct of the district's representative by-election. A former defeated representative candidate of Oswego County Electoral District number 2, Bishop Nimlen Doyen, has expressed gratitude in the people of Christian community for their continuous support in promoting unity through sports within their district. A leading Nigerian policeman has denied any connection of the fraud and money laundering charges that Nigerian influencer Absafi has pleaded guilty to in a U.S. court. We'll take a break and be back with our foreign news.
Good evening and welcome to the Foreign News. I'm Jeremiah Moba. Kenya has signed a deal with the UK that will allow its employed nurses and other medics to work in the UK. Britain Health Minister Sayed Javid, Kenya's Labour Minister Samuel Jalil signed the agreement on the third day of President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to London. The scheme is upon the scheme is open to Kenyan health workers who are qualified but unemployed, ensuring the process is managed for Kenya's benefit, according to a statement from the British government. This arrangement was requested by Kenya and should allow health professionals and managers to benefit from a special way through the UK's immigration system before returning to work in Kenya's health sector. The exact details should be confirmed before the end of October. The Medics Union in Kenya has in recent years raised concern about the high rate of unemployment among doctors and nurses in the country. The deal with the UK could appeal to many healthcare workers here as they have time and again decried poor working conditions, poor pay, and even having worked for months without pay. but there will be fears that it could encourage a brain drain. Currently, there are almost 900 Kenyans workers in the UK National Health Service in various capacities, according to the British authorities. Police in Awantini have fired rubber bullets of schools of protesters who took to the streets of the capital Babani angered by the arrest of two MPs who had recently called for political reform. A pro-democracy advocate had told the BBC at least one person have said to have been seriously injured. Pro-democracy legislators Basidi Mabuza and Mahamani Dubi were arrested Sunday and are accused of inciting violent protests. They had asked for bail, but a court which was expected to rule on the application had delayed its judgment. Their lawyer said Mr. Mabuza and Mr. Duli had recently called for an elected rather than appointed prime minister, among other damages, when the authorities banned citizens delivering petitions to support their demand last month. Violent protests broke out and at least 50 people were killed. Zimbabwe's economy is predicted to grow this year by 7.8%, which is slightly more than had been earlier forecast. Reviewing the government budget, Finance Minister Muli Ngubi attributed the growth to, among other things, good rainfall, which led to a strong agricultural season. Raising global commodity prices have also been a factor. Year-on-year inflation has dipped from the staggering that's 838.5% in July 2020 to 56% 12 months later. While the government appears to be winning its war against inflation, thus figure remains higher than the single-digit rate President Emerson Mnangagwa inherited when the offset his predecessor Raul Mugabe in 2017 with the help of the military. Analysts say the government's moving in the right direction, but most Zimbabweans have not seen an improvement in their living standard. The Customer Council of Zimbabwe says an average family needs 470 a month to survive. The average public school teacher earns just on 300 a month at the official exchange rate. Ghana's information minister says politicians have no intention of changing its law on sexuality after the anti-gay bill was submitted to Parliament. Ojo Opon Nkrumah told BBC Radio X, if you don't know your podcast, that the country's current laws on matters of sexuality were adequate. Ghana's criminal code allows what it describes as unnatural carnal knowledge, but does not explicitly mention. Last week, the draft of the anti-gay bill was submitted to Parliament. It proposed a 10-year jail sentence for people who promoted lesbian rights through mainstream of social media, including expressing sympathy or offering social or medical report. The bill will spark outrage and concern, especially among Ghanaians in the capital. And finally, Tunisian President Kais Saied has indicated plans for a looming crackdown on corruption in the country days after the seized control of the government by sacking the prime minister and several cabinet members and suspending the parliament. On Sunday, President Saied acted on an article in the constitution that gives him temporary exceptional powers in times of a crisis. But the political opponent described the move as a constitutional coup. The president's plan to tackle outstanding cases of corruption were maintained during a meeting which the head of the country's main business union. He said hundreds of business people have stolen nearly 5 billion in state funds through the fraud and unpaid taxes. President Saied says he will offer conditional amnesty to these business people in exchange for their investment in development projects chosen by the citizens based on regional commissions. Back to you, James, for continuation of the program.
Well, congratulations to colleague Jeremiah Mola for bringing us the foreign news on News Watch tonight. With that, we take an immediate crossover to the Passion of Last Sport Desk, where Ezekiel Menimula is posted to bringing us the news from the water sports. Good evening, Ezekiel.
Good evening, welcome to the Passion of Life Sports. New coming in series player Qatar, Angeline Kier of F India and BYC2 Nathaniel Campbell will be departing Liberia in a few days for the United States after they were selected by the Euro Football Academy Kenya Sport Management as both players were brought in a recently held trial in March at the ATS. According to the CEO of the Euro Football Academy, Arnold Kennedy, he is impressed by the work of everyone involved in moving the group forward. While in the United States, Kier and Campbell will blend football with education at the Division One school at the Campbellville University. On last week, the sport management successfully sent player Abu Kamara and Bangali Cisse to continue their career in the United States of America. Romanian third-tier club FC Somerset have secured the services of Spanish-born Liberian goalkeeper Boston Wani de Souza. The 24-year-old joins the club as free agent after spending the 2020 league season in Spain with CD Benicalem. Boston was born in Palma, Machuca to a Liberian father and a Brazilian mother and received his first call up to the Lone Star in November 2016. He made his international debut in Liberia 3-0 away loss to the Warriors of Zimbabwe in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying round 1 on 11 June 2017 in Harare. The showstopper was in action against the Devil of Congo in Brazzaville, where the red, white, and blue was defeated 3-1. And away from home, world number one men's tennis player Novak Djokovic is through to the semi-final of the Tokyo Olympic after eliminating Japanese Kei Nishikori in straight set 6-2, 6-love. The Serbian now faces a tough test against Germany's Alexander Zverev on Friday at about 5 p.m. local time. Both players have met on 8 occasions as the Serb has recorded at least 6 wins, while Zverev tables 2. On the other hand, Spain's Pablo Carreno Busta defeated world number 2 Danny Medvedev to set up a semi-final clash against Russia Karen Shapanov and is back to it for the continuation of the broad new watch.
Congratulations to Ezekiel Menimuno for bringing us the passion of last post. And finally, we lift our final development. A man known as Junior Wampi has allegedly set ablaze a 13-bedroom house in Soniwen community, Moswell County, leaving over 25 people homeless. The incident occurred Wednesday night when the occupants were asleep. The caretaker of the 13-bedroom house, whose fiancé allegedly set the house ablaze, told journalists that prior to the incident, her fiancé had constantly accused her of having love affair with some male customers who visit her business shop. According to her, Gino Wapia escaped immediately on Wednesday night when he put the 13-bedroom house on fire and is currently on the run. The victims, including men, women, children, are calling on the national government and philanthropists for urgent assistance. Well, those are voices of victims of a recent fire disaster. We're talking about the man identified as Junior Wampia. Well, let's just set ablaze a 30-bedroom house in Sunnyway community, Maswalo County, of course. That situation left over 25 people homeless. You hear them there, appealing to central government, including philanthropists, to come to their aid. Well, that story, that's how we leave you on today's edition of Newswatch. Newswatch is a 45 minute of news, views, comments, and analysis from about Liberia, Africa, and our global village. Before we go, let's recap today's top stories. Citizens of Yola in Nima County are calling on the governor of Liberia to speedily investigate the death of a 70-year-old boy. Former defeated Representative candidate of District 2 Moswell County Bishop Nimlen Doyen has expressed gratitude in the people of Christian community for their continued support in promoting unity through sports within the district. A man known as Gino Mumpia has allegedly set ablaze a 13-bedroom house in Soniwen community, Moswell County. A leading Nigerian policeman has denied any connection with the fraud and money laundering charges the Nigerian influencer or party has pleaded guilty to in a U.S. court. Many thanks to Jeremiah Moba who brought us our news bulletin and before the news. Ezekiel Menmula was here with the Passion of Last Sports. James Egerson Fopa are anchored. Good night.